Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Now, this is according to Mike Coopinger, and he states, they're hearing that Triple G is waiting until the birth of his child to make a decision on a new network home. So we should have clarity this month. This is a direct quote. He also stated that he and his wife are steering his career now. They will decide between the PBC, DAZN, and ESPN. Now, we already knew that he was going to, decide between those three platforms, and we should have clarity this month. So that is good. So we should know by the end of this month where Triple G is going. And so let's break down each potential platform and see what they have for him. If he goes to the PBC, he has a Jamal Charlo that he could fight. And I think that would probably be the most logical fight for him, a Jamal Charlo versus Triple G with the PBC. He could also go to DAZN. They actually have every middleweight world champion. They have plenty of fights, and they have plenty of fighters at 168 should Triple G be willing to travel to the UK for a Callum Smith. ESPN. Now, ESPN has Gilberto Soto Ramirez, and I think that'll be an interesting fight for him, but they don't have much else. So each platform can offer Triple G a ton of money, but DAZN can offer him title shots, money, and the same exposure, because what you have to understand is you can't listen to the biased fanboy channels. You have to be unbiased and really look at things through corrective eyes, through the true eyes and sobering eyes, and that is that DAZN is a growing platform. It's turning into the Netflix of boxing, and it's basically to the level of where these guys were the #1 most downloaded app. The fight December when Canelo Alvarez fought. So you have to understand that Canelo has already brought up the app, did tremendous numbers, and it's only going to keep getting bigger. You have to remember, DAZN is not even a year old, and they have the two biggest stars in boxing in Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez. To me, I think Triple G does best on DAZN, because not only can he fight all the DAZN fighters, DAZN is itching to get other fighters to come fight on their platform. So that means they'd be willing to allow Jamal Charlo to come fight on DAZN. That means they'd be willing to allow other fighters like Gilberto Soto Ramirez to come fight on their platform. These guys wouldn't mind doing that. So it's up to their networks to be potential, to take that risk. I think Triple G should go to DAZN. I think that makes the most sense. I think the next few fights for Triple G would be, if I was his manager and I was picking for him, I'd look more at a Jamal Charlo. I think that fight makes the most sense right now. You've already seen Jamal Charlo can't handle, a different type of pressuring style. He takes a lot of shots. He's not nowhere near the boxer that Canelo is. He's not elusive in that sense of the word, and he arguably lost to Matt Korobov. So if you're looking at that in your Triple G, you know that you could probably hurt him. You know that you could probably stop him. I think Triple G has to look at Jamal Charlo as food at this point. He has to look at him as a situation where he can get a good fight, resurrect his name a little bit, try to get the fire going again. Or Triple G could look for one of the champions on DAZN. He could fight a Demetrius Andre. He could fight, a Danny Jacobs if Canelo doesn't take that fight. He has these options, and there's even the option of a Canelo 3, and I know that's been talked about. I think his most likely choice is going to be DAZN. I would be shocked if he would go anywhere else, because I don't see the PBC or ESPN having enough fights to keep him there. DAZN not only has 160 but 168. They have multitude of fights, multitude of champions, and it just makes the most sense. I could see Triple G going to the UK to fight a Callum Smith. I think that would be a great fight and for a world title. And I think that Triple G can kind of, cement his legacy by winning another world championship, whether it being at 160 or 168. I think Triple G still is an elite level fighter. He is an elite level puncher. And, Triple G's underrated. He has some really good skill set. He's not a one-dimensional fighter, but he's not an elite level boxer, but he's a good boxer. He's underrated, but he's a solid boxer. He's a very hard power puncher. He's an elite power puncher. And he's going to give anybody in the middleweight division hell. And he's going to give a lot of guys at 168 hell. So I think DAZN makes the most sense. I think going after a world title makes the most sense. And I think that the guys he should be looking for is a Jamal Charlo, a Demetrius Andre, a Callum Smith. I think those should be the three names on the top of Triple G's list. And once again, Triple G should make a decision on his network home this month after the birth of his child. So stay tuned. Once again, it's the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.